Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. We are so happy to have you with us. Tim Wilkins, as always, joined by the one and only
Real deal.
The Big Hustle.
the Big Hustle, Tarek Elgindi, coming back from Brazil, I think.
Brazil had a tremendous time filming with Horse MD, Rafael Brandão, and all the superstars. A lot of the Brazilians came up to me. They loved the show. They love Tim Wilkins. They love Chris Cormier. Congratulations, because the Brazilians, man, they're very picky when it comes to their preferences.
Watch his face. So you filmed a lot of the Brazilians. Horse, Rafael, Vitor, Eduardo Becerra.
So I could not film Eduarda Bezerra because she lives in North Brazil, and we didn't have time to manage her coming down to São Paulo. But, obviously I'm going to go back there, and eventually we can go ahead and film her.
He would have lit up like Christmas. So, Chris, good to see you.
Good to see you too, my man. Good to be back.
You're looking just dapper. I mean, there's a new Chris the last 6 months.
Thank you. And I am a big fan of the beard. Beard gang, beard gang.
Beard gang.
That's right.
Sometimes I feel like I'm going to tell you your homework is late.
That's right.
Hey, guys, we see Hadi Choopan behind us. There's always controversy with one whole section of the world on whether or not Hadi should have been the winner. And the thing that makes him so close every time is the incredible conditioning.
Tim, he is a fantastic bodybuilder, Hadi Choopan. He's made his legacy in the IFBB Pro League and the Olympia stage by bringing unmatched conditioning, even when he was placing third, when he was coming onto the scene. He's very competitive. I mean, in the last 3 Olympias, he either won or he was second place. Nobody has been more consistent than him. He's a master poser. I don't think anybody poses as well as Hadi. I think Samson, Derek, Nick, everybody who's on that stage should learn from Hadi in terms of posing. Was he as good as 2022 when he won the event? No, he wasn't. 2022, he was lights out. I mean, he was dominant. I voted for him prejudging and finals to win the show. But every time he places second, it's just so close. That's how good this guy is.
Well, he won the Arnold. He won the Arnold UK. But then coming to this Olympia, the last 2 shows for the Olympia, his 2 showings, I felt he was a little bit softer from the back. Lights out from the front, great in intercostals and the obliques and area, everything like that. And the chest, upper chest is always granite. But I just feel like the backside is never really as good as it can be, or his counterparts are showing. So maybe that's holding him back. I don't know what that is.
So we've all talked about this, Chris, and you can give your thoughts on this, because we thought with the Derek Lunsford year, Derek took him, 4-3, definitely had him back double bicep and lat spread. There was some controversy about the side poses, although, Hadi is all about that side pose. That abs and thighs is wicked.
That's his baby.
That's his money. He hits that oblique abs and thighs, and it's lights out.
And most muscular.
But what we talked about last year was if someone pops up like Samson or Martin and takes a point on this pose and a point on this pose, it's going to scramble it for everybody.
Right.
Is that really what you think picked apart with Samson taking a pose or 2, and did Derek take any poses? How did that shake out?
Well, listen, I think the 2024 Mr. Olympia was really about Samson Dauda, right? Samson Dauda has always had tremendous size and the most beautiful lines. The problem with Samson was conditioning. He wasn't conditioned enough to surpass some of these guys. He improved that criteria, and hence he surpassed those guys. Now, it is a great question, Tim, if we had Hadi Choopan 2022 against Samson Dauda 2024 against Derek Lunsford 2023. Hadi Choopan, right after the Olympia, placing second, he said, I'm not going to do any other show. I'm going to prepare myself for the 2025 Mr. Olympia. I fully believe Hadi Choopan believes he can beat Samson Dauda and Derek. And he knows his legacy will be defined by how many Olympias he has won. If he wins one, he joins a great selection of people. Samir Banu, Chris Dickerson, Sean Roden, Brandon Curry. But he wants to be with the 2 and 3 guys. He wants to be with Franco Columbo, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Big Ramy. That makes a difference when you're talking about the history of bodybuilding. And that's why he said, I'm not doing the New York Pro, I'm not doing the Arnold, I'm not doing any other shows. I want to be Mr. Olympia again.
Well, let's look at what he gave us last year, and let's talk about what you think. Now, regardless of anybody else, what we need to see from Hadi to get him back to that top spot.
Now, right off the bat, he was blamed in 2021 for having the shoulders be too prominent, right? They kind of took away his balance. We don't see this problem here. Look at that vacuum. It's fantastic. The flaring quads.
The most muscular without even hitting a shot.
Look, he hits the shot, right?
Look at the striations in that part of the
Using the
chest.
pecs.
We can roll it. You can keep rolling. Look. Beautiful waist. Look at the most muscular. He's got the chest separation. Everything is there. This is your shot. Look at this. Deep obliques. Deep.
Oh, and he's got the pec going along with the shot. Right here, I think he can improve that shot just by bending the legs more.
Now, right here, stop right here, Carter. I have seen Hadi a little bit sharper, hamstrings and glutes.
So right there, it looks like he's
a little bit sharper. 2022, right here, he was diced to the bone.
And that oblique needs to be really lined up right there. If you over contract that oblique, then you're gonna mess up the striations there. And I think like you went down too low.
Roll the tape, Carter. Now here is where Derek got him in 2023 and where Samson improved vastly and he closed the gap on these guys. Stop right here. The lower back of Hadi Choopan needed to be tighter. Right here, this needed to be tighter on him.
And Chris, is it a posing thing as he goes into that next one that we're not popping those elbows forward just enough to get the width? Because Derek got him on width and so did Samson.
Let's see it.
And we'll play just a touch. That's it right there.
See right here, yeah, it's a posing thing. Because if you can draw a line in your mind from that pinky all the way down to that lower lat insertion, you can get some pressure, a line of pressure through there, and you can pop out those lower lat insertions right there, and that'll give you that separation at the bottom of your back.
So we also talk about this. Now, when he came out in the dark, you see he's starting to widen a little on the waist. But if you watch Hadi train doing 500-pound Smith machine squats and 500- and 600-pound deadlifts, at some point, there's only so much mass you're going to put on a frame that size.
Not to mention, is he 38 now? 38 years old? 39?
No, I think he's 35 years old. Yeah.
No way.
35.
No way.
But you know, Tim, you bring up a good point. You want to gain size, you're going to have to lift heavy, right? And if you want it, you know, you got to take in consideration, these guys were chasing Big Ramy, right? When he was placing third, when he was placing fourth, he wasn't complaining. The fans were not complaining. They're like, Big Ramy is a lot bigger than him. We love Big Ramy. Now, they were chasing Big Ramy, Derek and all these guys. He needed to get bigger to become Mr. Olympia, and he did that. And when you become bigger, obviously the waist starts expanding a little bit. But because he has such prominent quads, still it has a good illusion. My issue is this. If you want to beat Samson Dauda, you're going to have to be perfect on the conditioning. From the front, he's lights out. From the back, he wasn't. Because now you're dealing against Samson Dauda, who has more prettier lines than him.
Okay, I'm going to go back, and as we go through this,
Let's go back.
I just talked about the posing here. But if you want, let's let it roll. There were a couple of shots from the side and from the front that tell me we're missing some density right here and some width. We've got a lot of great thickness right here, but when he comes back to these front poses, and you see him doing the pose between the pose, where a lot of guys have a nice low lat connection, low lat insertion, and when they pop that out, it gives that big wide flare. It's not there. That's where, okay, right there, and when you see really high lats, which gives the nice taper on the waist, but he's going to be missing that on a couple poses. See, there wasn't a lot of density in the middle on the way up through that pose. So it's not a posing issue. He really needs to concentrate on the width of the lat to give him the density's there, the thickness is there. He knows what to train.
Well, what I meant with a posing issue as far as that you can apply pressure on your lats wide in that pose, or you can just hit the front double without that extra inch or two of flare from a contraction. That's what I was
But
thinking.
you can't pose. You are correct, but you can't pose what's not there. Here's what I'm starting to think now. The more I see these, if I let this roll just a touch, there's a couple more poses that I think Hadi really just, if he concentrates on that and comes in as conditioned as he always comes in, let's let it roll just a touch more. There's a little bit of missing lat in this package. Like other guys will have that lat. Fitzwater's got a big old gnarly set of lat sticking out the backside. Right there, you see this right there, there's some missing width. That if he gets that, it may put him over the top.
And if he don't, Fitzwater or someone like that can swoop up and start taking him over.
Well, I still think he is the biggest threat to Samson Dauda. When it comes to conditioning, he's been the most consistent bodybuilder on that stage. When it comes to placing, he's been more consistent than anybody. He's been more consistent than Derek and Samson. So he's very dangerous, and now he's got a whole year off going to the Olympia.
But do you think Hani is going to still take him on as a
Well,
client?
no, Hani is retired, right?
Okay, but who's going to take this guy
But
on?
one thing is for sure, Chris, like you were saying, this guy knows exactly what to do to get peeled.
Right.
He got peeled before he met Hani. He's peeled during Hani. He's going to get peeled after Hani. When he's 75 years old and we bury him, he's going to be peeled. That's Hadi Choopan right there for you.
Well, that is Hadi Choopan, and we know the Wolf is in the process of hunting his 2025 comeback for that Olympia title. And there's going to be a very exciting Olympia in 2025, and that's the Masters Olympia in Tokyo, Japan. Coming up, we're going to talk about what would be our dream lineup and some of the guys we'd like to see come back and take that stage. We're back, and one of the things we always like to do is make sure we mention and thank Global Formulas. Tarek.
Yes. If you want to compete at the Masters Olympia, you're going to be shredded like Kamal Elgarni. Hidetada had striated glutes, and Alex Cambronero had deep obliques. In order to do that, you're going to have zero fat, zero sugar in your diet. Your abs are going to be deep like Tim Wilkins. If you don't have the Pro Zero from Global Formulas, you're going to end up looking like Tarek and Chris.
Well, that's just a threat. All right, you perfectly
Don't
segued
include me in that.
into our. Well, if we're talking about our lineup, would you like to come back for the Masters Olympia 25?
Let's do it.
But get on that treadmill.
No, let's not do it. We don't need to refund all the entries and, you know.
Oh, see?
So
Now here we go. Now you're souping me up. Now you're tearing me down.
No, I think you were one of the greatest bodybuilders of all times.
All time.
I give you a lot of credit.
I'll never lose that
but
spot.
During segments, we change, and I see you without a shirt, and I'm begging you not to compete.
And what are you looking like?
I look just as bad as you.
No, not just
But
as
I'm not
bad.
contemplating doing anything with my life.
You never went up there before.
So let's talk about the Masters Olympia. So as the guy who emceed the entire run for Vince Taylor's Masters Olympia, I would love to see him come back.
I knew you was gonna go with him.
Did I take
first.
away your guy?
Yeah, I knew it. It's all right. You brought it up last night, but I knew.
All right.
But yeah, Vince Taylor, man. I went against Vince so many times, and he has that uncanny ability to make the judges think he's even better conditioned than what he actually is. That I used to not like about this guy. I didn't like that about you, Vince.
I think he's 62 or 63 right now, and you don't want to pop and lock with him.
No.
He looks good.
Well,
See, but the thing is, though, wait. The thing is, though, when the charisma he has on stage is unmatched in many years, and when he would hit a shot, and then coming from his transitions to the connection he has with the fans, with the judges, that's where he made his money. And I used to hate to go after him because he just bring the house down when he poses.
The Masters Olympia is extremely hard. It's possibly better than about 50% of the pro shows when it comes to quality of competitors. Phil Clahar won a show, placed third at the Masters Olympia. Kamal El-Garni was a 212 champion twice, I think, and he won. Hidetada, he was one of the best bodybuilders. He won. Alex Cambronero had won the Arnold Classic, and he won the Masters Olympia. Jessica Reyes Padilla went to Romania, won the Masters Olympia, placed second at the Olympia. I'm telling you right now, you want to compete at the Masters Olympia, you need to bring it. You need to bring it because the people competing at the Masters Olympia are incredible, incredible competitors. I mean, you know Jessica Reyes Padilla is going to be there. She could very well win the Olympia in Las Vegas, win the Masters Olympia, and then win the Olympia. So if you think this is a walk in the park, you're wrong. I judge Kamal El-Garni, and he would have won a lot of the pro shows in the 2023 season.
Kamal looked like he turned back the hands of time many times when he showed up in Tampa, when he showed up at the Olympia. I mean, this guy is amazing. I love this guy.
So one thing I would love to see, and we bring up a guy Vince Taylor's age, is when I was emceeing the Masters Olympia, you had him from 40 and 41 to mid-60s. You had Honoré Sorante and a couple of the other old pros. So now let's go 40s with some of the guys that we know could jump in there with the Alex Camberneros, and then get into Jimmy Mentis is coming back. He is determined to bring an amazing package back. In my area, that's Kissimmee Muscle, is Jimmy Mentis and Vince Taylor. In my gym alone, I got Willie Stalling and Steve Brisbois.
Willie Stallings trying to come back?
Yeah, well, I'm going to convince Willie to come back. And Steve Brisbois from the 1988-89 Mr. Olympia, just in my little area.
I got Morale. Morale coming out of Steve's gym. Juan Morale.
The Cookie Man?
And
Cookie Man.
Here's a good pick. Here's a good pick because Juan Morel turned pro in 2009 at the North Americans.
Let's go, Juan.
And let me tell you a few more names. John De La Rosa.
Oh, yeah.
John De La Rosa is going to be there.
Is he going to be?
You're talking about guys that have competed at the Mr. Olympia. I'm not recommending you, okay? If you're 75 years old and you want a title in the 60s, this might not be the show for you.
Robbie Robinson.
Okay? Listen.
Robbie can do
The
it.
people competing at the Masters Olympia
Robbie can
are
do it.
42, 43, maybe a 48-year-old guy, but these people are incredible competitors.
He's the first.
He's
the first Masters.
He's the first Master. I would personally sponsor Robbie's airfare to Tokyo to see him back on stage.
You heard that, Robbie?
I would personally.
Let's
Black
go.
Prince,
Let's go, RR.
Listen.
economy on an aisle. I will give you that.
Come on,
maybe
man.
Business.
Let's go business.
I can't do first.
Let's go business.
I think you guys are making a mistake here in terms of the generation. Some
But
of these guys.
Who do you want to see up
Some
there?
of these guys are iconic and we love them. But it's the generation of Juan Morel. It's the generation of Steve Kuklo. It's the generation of John De La Rosa.
Kuklo would be tough.
It's those guys that are going to be competing and fighting for the first place. Kamal El-Garni. It's going to be Max Charles, who plays second. It's going to be Phil Clahar. You get somebody in their 70s there, and they're not going to do well. I mean, 40 years old. Ronnie Coleman won Olympias in his 40s.
What about like a Durham Charles or Paul? You said Paul
Well,
Doulette's not
hold
good.
on. Durham Charles was at the Masters Olympia in Romania, and one of my favorite bodybuilders, huge biceps, and he didn't place as well as he wanted.
Oh, what about the short guy? He was in 212. He used to
that
live
doesn't
here.
narrow it down. They're
He
all
lived
tiny.
here in Arizona. He was in the military.
David Henry.
David Henry.
Oh, yeah.
David Henry.
David Henry.
Yeah, so these are incredible, amazing competitors. People have this idea that, some iconic figures are going to come back. Listen, I would love for Frank Zane to come back, but no. Unfortunately, this is not the generation. We have to make amends and understand. It's the generation of guys that turned pro in 2005. Listen, how about a name for you? Brandon Curry. Okay, that's the
He's
guy.
not 40 yet.
Brandon is. I
He's like
think
44.
Brandon
No.
is 40. Yes,
He's
He's
got
40?
dude. Brandon turned pro in 2008. Okay, he won the Olympia in 2019, and I'm gonna call him right after
gonna
this
fact check,
segment.
fact check,
and
fact
I'm gonna
check.
bring him in for the Masters Olympia.
Fact check.
He cannot be under 40.
No, he's got to be in his early
Facts.
40s.
He
He's over 40?
42. He just turned 42.
42. He should be in the Masters Olympia.
He better be.
Hey, put the camera on me.
He better be. All the
Brandon
sushi-
Curry. Brandon Curry. I am driving to Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm bringing you to Tokyo, Japan. You're going to be on stage at the Masters
All the
Olympia.
sushi you can eat.
We are going to bring you to Tokyo. You're going to be Mr. Olympia and fight for the Masters Olympia.
How many have done that? How many have held both titles?
Nobody. No
I don't
one.
think it's ever been done.
Let's go. Be the first, baby.
Be the first.
Let's go.
I'm just thinking,
We
Terry.
need the stars to come out, stars
Not-
to shine.
We're not thinking who's competitive, but if you were to think generational dream team in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and one iconic Robbie Robinson in there somewhere, but if you would think who would be the ones that the crowd would come out in droves to cheer from, that might be 57, 58, if he'd be lucky to be top 5, but would bring his best, and everybody go, dude, I can't believe I saw that guy on his comeback.
Lou Ferrigno.
Well, you gotta think
the
of the
Godfather.
social media world, right? You gotta think of the social media world. We live in the social media world. And a lot of these young kids that love C-Bum, that love these guys, the person that they would relate with in terms of masters would be Phil Heath. I don't know if Phil is over 40, but if Phil
yeah.
Heath announced that he was
Definitely.
doing the Masters Olympia, it would break the internet.
Yeah. Will he do it? Can he do it?
Oh, he could.
Should he?
Dan
do it?
Solomon has a great relationship with Phil, and Dan can convince
Get
him.
him on the horn.
Let's get Dan on the horn. Get your BFF on the horn.
I will do that.
Yes.
I'm fairly tight with Phil as well, and I'll call and beg.
Yeah.
Let's make
Give
it
him,
happen.
give him a nice massage.
Brandon Curry versus Phil Heath at Masters
Oh,
Olympia.
I can see it now.
That's a dream team right there.
Okay, women's figure. I'd like to see all of the 99 to 2001 figure competitors. Elena Johannesson, Tamea Mayorova. I want to see that bikini and fitness era.
You do want to see those girls. None of them want to see Jessica Reyes-Padilla.
None of them want to see Jessica Reyes-Padilla.
Nope. Jessica.
Women's bodybuilding, I think some girls could go there and get that money. I don't know how old Andrea Shaw is.
Marvelous.
About 34,
Marvelous.
35.
What's her name?
Margie
Marvelous.
Martin?
Yeah.
Margie Martin.
She can come out of retirement. She's
Yeah,
not, she
Linda
wasn't-
looks like at any minute she could compete.
Linda Murray looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm putting my vote in for Linda to get
Linda
out.
Murray.
Let's go, Linda.
Bring back
And
her and
Linda,
Iris.
Linda looks incredible.
I remember seeing Linda in 1989
I wasn't even born then.
and looking better now.
Well, guys, it's going to be an incredible show. In the comments, and I just thought of another one in the circle. Vinny Galanti. I'd love to see Vinny had to put a couple good shows on last year at the end. I would tell us who you'd love to see in any category on that Masters Olympia.
Danny
stage.
Hester.
Danny Hester. Would love to see Danny.
Danny.
Tell us who you'd like to see up there, and
Like-
if you need us to call anybody and beg them to come, let us know. And Chris is going to pay for their airfare.
And we're gonna eat a lot of sushi. I will be there for sure. I'm
So,
gonna be there.
as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about Primetime Muscle. And we thank, as always, our sponsor, Global Formulas. Chris?
Hey, it's been real, man. It's been
Always
great.
fun. Derek Gilgindy.
Let's
This
go.
was a fantastic 2024,
Yes.
but I got news for both of you.
What's that?
Are you ready?
Let's go.
2025 will be one of the greatest years for bodybuilding.
And if you look in that camera,
Did you pay attention to what I said?
yes.
2025 will be one of the greatest years for bodybuilding.
All right.
Great.
pull that clip and put it
All
somewhere.
right, then.
Put that in the time
Save
capsule.
that.
We shall see. All right, folks. I hope you have a wonderful 2025. We will see you on Primetime Muscle.